Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Talos of Tech Live. I don't have the shirt. I'm not prepared today. I just got off jury duty, though I don't have to be in a courtroom all week, so that's nice. Now I can just pay attention to you guys, answer some of your questions. Haven't gone live in a while. Sorry about that. But there's been a lot of developments recently, if you've been following me and John Prosser's discussion on what live streaming does to your channel, but we'll talk more about that later. I want to get into some of the questions. We've been seeing a couple of AutoCAD leaks / renders for the new iPad Pro that are interesting, to say the least. They've got some weird things on the back of the iPad, potentially a smart connector, potentially a fingerprint reader. Some people are not sure if these are legit. Some people are saying that it's going to be a squared-off design. They're going to abandon the rounded-off cornered aluminum that we have now and go for a more iPhone 5 kind of boxy-looking iPad Pros. Anyway, interesting stuff. Either way, I could say I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Not sure if it's all going to be good, but I'm still very interested to see what's going to go down exactly. Anyway, it's got a different shirt, the table of dirt. I do actually wear shirts sometimes that aren't Tailosive shirts. You know, sometimes you gotta relax a little bit. Sometimes you gotta go a little. We're casual Monday. Is that what it's called? I'm my own boss. I'll wear whatever I want. Whatever. Thank you, Dainu, for being the first super chatter of the day, saying, hello, how much do you think the iPhone 11 Plus will cost? Reports are saying $1,000, but it's Apple, so always aim higher. So that means it could very easily end up being $1,100, knowing Apple. And keep in mind, that's in the U.S., so as soon as you start going into other countries and the import tariffs start going in on it, it'll probably end up costing a lot more. So $999 here, but overseas it'll most easily be $1,500 plus, depending on what country you're in, which sucks. That definitely sucks. But I imagine Apple's putting all of their best efforts into that 6.1-inch iPhone 9, as we're calling it. We don't know what it actually will be called. That's just the easiest way to reference it. They're probably putting all their efforts towards that, and they're not too worried about the sales of the 11 Plus, even though I think it's going to sell really well. It's going to be the same price as this thing was. And this thing was the top-selling iPhone for several months. So we'll see, I guess. We'll find out. I hope its name is iPhone 10 second generation. I don't. That's a mouthful. I don't want to say second generation iPhone 10 every time I refer to it. I'd rather just say 11. That's easy. That's less syllables. It's easier to reference. Yeah, expect $1,500, and then you won't be too upset when it turns out to be $1,200. So always aim high with Apple. Apple's not the company to undercut the competition, very rarely. Though we're expecting that with the 9 and the new iPhone 10s. I call them that because it's not really a new design. It's just a 10 over again. But and I call the 9 because I feel like it's in between the 8 and the 10. It's not quite a 10, but it's not quite an 8. So I was just like, they'll call it something weird that we all hate, but that's the easiest way to refer to it now. So I'm fine with it. Yeah. Hey, Vipers in the chat. Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming in. Oh, good. I love seeing all the Despacito comments in the chat. That's my favorite. The reason the iPhone 10 sold so well, in my opinion, is because it was a new approach, but with the new iPhone 11, it's almost the same. All the iPhones this year are not new approaches. iPhone 10 could have sold well for multiple reasons. Uh-oh. Did we freeze? Whoa. OBS just went dark for a second. What was that? Anyway, hopefully you can see me now. I'm not sure what caused that. Whoa. Oof. Bradley Gilbert says, GoPro Hero 6, should Apple make a camera like GoPro? Their cameras are just going to go on the iPhones. There's a blackout. Can you see me now? I saw that too. OBS went off for a second. Can everyone hear and see me okay? That's important. We see you now. That's good to hear. Okay. Weird. I've never had that before. Bizarre. Okay. Good. RAP web. It's not really a webcam, but whatever OBS was doing, it freaked out for a second. Bradley Gilbert. Yeah, GoPros are cool, but they're definitely less and less needed for what Apple's looking for. Apple could basically make anything and slap their logo on it, and people would probably buy it. But they don't because they're very selective about what products they think supports their ideology, supports their idea of technology getting out of the way and just working for us, and we don't notice it as much as possible. They're not really into that. I want them to be. What I would prefer Apple make is DSLRs and GoPros that support AirDrop, because I'm tired of using CFast cards and SD cards on all my cameras. I wish they had all their storage locally, and then when I was done recording, I could wirelessly send all that footage to my Mac. I would love to do that. I think that would be the future, but they're not doing it. If you want to talk about a company that just likes to slap their logo on things and sell it, Tesla just released $1,500 surfboards. Marquez bought one. He doesn't even surf. He just bought. I mean, they look cool. There's no denying they look cool, but what, surfboards? Is it because they're zero emission? You know, they don't they don't run on gas. So that's good, I guess. Ruby Super Chat, it says, that intro music is lit. Consider this payment for the hours of entertainment you've given us with the Tech Podcast. Go buy some McDonald's with Sander. Oh, thank you very much. He'll be excited. He'll be excited for that. We can buy, yeah. We love going to McDonald's. Even though he used to work there and he doesn't work there anymore, he still enjoys going. When the new iPhone comes out, should I swap it from the iPhone 10? Up to you, dude. Do you want to? Do you not want to? It's up to you. What about the new iMacs? Yeah, there's talk that they are working on refreshing most of the Mac line. I don't even know if that counts the iMac Pro, but the 8th generation CPU is being adopted into the iMacs themselves, but I imagine they're worried because what if that starts cannibalizing iMac Pro sales? If they imagine if they put the i9 hexa-core into a 27-inch iMac and they're able to cool it adequately, and what if it starts outperforming or exceeding iMac Pro specifications for a lot cheaper? Then the iMac Pro becomes kind of pointless, unless maybe I don't follow the Xeon chip development, but maybe they're able to make faster CPUs for the iMac Pro too, and they can upgrade everything. That would be wonderful too. But there's still reports saying they're working on a Mac Mini refresh even, which I'd actually be slightly interested in when we do our Talks live streams over in the podcast room. It'd be really nice if we had kind of a cheap Mac that was just for live streaming stuff, and that was it. And we might consider buying a refresh Mac Mini for that reason. Also, it'd be fun to unbox because I've never bought a Mac Mini before, so that could be interesting. Did Google make fun of the notch, though? I don't think they did. So I critique Google, but we got to be fair sometimes. They critiqued Apple for removing the headphone jack, then they did it themselves. That was stupid. Bad move on Google's marketing team. But when it comes to the notch, I don't think they made fun of it, from what I can remember. You should make a podcast on Google Podcast and Apple Podcast to download. Hey, we've done it, Charles. It's on Apple Podcasts. You can check it out. And if you're on Android, there's SoundCloud. It's there. I'm actually considering going from a Samsung to a new iPhone that comes out this year. To me, it seems like Samsung has stalled out and Apple's the way to go for progress currently, especially if you want to talk about software. See, John and I were talking about this. He's saying that Samsung's trying to play the same game Apple plays, where they can have minor incremental updates year over year, even though Galaxy S8 to S9, even if that was an Apple-type device, that would have been a very minor refresh. It would have been like an S model, like an iPhone 6 to a 6S, you know. But what makes it okay when Apple does that and not okay when Samsung does that is Apple's software updates change everything every year consistently. So people buying iPhones know there will be big changes coming. There will be big refreshes every single year in the fall. They can get a suite of new features. They may not be the biggest features ever, but Samsung, in terms of their software, is going to be very much the same, very much standard for the rest of the year. And the years to come. You're going to buy an S8, its software is barely going to change from now in the next 4 years, and they're probably just going to discontinue it when it comes to software updates. Anyway, Zach Crawford said, will there ever be a Mac Mini Pro? Thanks. Probably not, though that would be cool. I'd like just a space gray Mac Mini that's really powerful. That would be neat, right? I would like that. Catherine says, Apple Watch Series 4. Not much being said, maybe because we don't know much. All we really know is that the display is supposed to be larger with the form factor staying the same. I'm excited for, but there's not much we can talk about. People were really interested in my Series 4 video. That video took off. People were like, I want to hear more about this Apple Watch. But then what else do we know other than, yeah, it's probably a little faster, maybe a battery life increase. But, yeah, other than that, but it's not going to be – it's like the iPhone 10 of Apple Watch refreshes. Things look really different, but functionally – it's all about the same. You're going to scroll through your phone the same way you do. It's like it looks really cool, but at least with the 10 we had like no home button and Face ID to adjust to. Apple Watch, you won't have Face ID. You won't have any of that stuff, but Aiden says, what is the most you'll pay for an iPhone? Thanks for all the content every day. Hey, you're welcome, Aiden. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the super chat. I honestly, the problem is I'm a tech channel now, so I have to review this stuff anyway, which definitely changes my perspective. If I was not running a tech channel, I don't even know if I don't even know if I'd have an iPhone 10, to be honest. I don't know that for sure. Because I'm a tech channel, I could easily like justify a $2,000 iPhone if that helped me grow my channel. If that was like, I'm going to unbox this, I'm going to review this. Whoa, big old donation there. I'll get to that in a second. If this is going to help me grow my channel, we're going to be talking about this and what iOS versions and how it runs on this for a long time, I can justify that. So as a analyst, as a tech reviewer, which you guys can, I'm biased as hell, you know that, but it still helps my channel, and it's more of a business expense than a tax write-off, honestly, to the point that price-wise, I'm not against paying $2,000 for an iPhone. I mean, that would be annoying, but it would not prevent me from buying one. If we got over $2,000, I would have a very hard time justifying it. I'd be like, really? But at the same time, with my business, that might end up being worth it. So, yeah, that's these things pay for themselves in my line of work. When most of what we do is talk about technology and review these products. So, in my line of work, it makes a lot more sense to buy these things. But I remember growing up and consciously thinking before I ran a tech channel, before I did all this stuff, I remember thinking like, you know, we spend thousands of dollars on our pro class desktops, but we don't use them as much as our phones. Doesn't it make more sense that you would spend more money on the thing you use more often? The only reason we spend so much on the iMac Pro or the iMacs is because the parts and stuff, they are expensive. But, you know, we still pay overall for the things we use the most. You know, we invest in cars and houses, and they're expensive, but we use those a lot, so we can justify the price. And I think a very similar situation could come about smartphones if we're constantly wanting them to be better and we want them to improve. We want them to have more features and we want them to look cooler. If all that's true, I don't think if you started charging $2,000 for iPhones, it would persuade a lot of people to stop. For mostly, a lot of people do it month to month anyway, so that's not $2,000 up front. That's per month. For one, Apple would definitely not only sell one iPhone that's $2,000. That would be some kind of exclusive super smartphone that only some people would be interested in. They have shown, even with this year, that they are interested in appealing to a cheaper market. They're not saying $1,000 for the iPhone is a new normal. They're just saying that's a new upper class as phones are doing more and more. They're working to make phones cheaper. Anyway, 400 people watching. Wow. Thanks, guys. Let's address this big super chat. The iPhone is the only phone that doesn't have a bottom bezel. It has bezels. They're just small. But other Androids can't do this because of the costs. Why haven't these manufacturers combined the display drivers with the top notch, like an upside-down Mi Mix? Thoughts? The most primary reason I can think of that they haven't put the what I believe you're explaining is, you know, they can achieve a same-size bezel at the top with the notch. You're saying attach the display digitizer to the top instead of the bottom. That's why Android phones all have notches. Have chins at the bottom. Is because the sensors that are at the top of the phone are taking up more space. You know, you can have sensors with Face ID and front-facing camera and front-facing speaker, earpiece. You can have that up there, but there's not also a bunch of room for the digitizer in the display. These things take up a certain amount of room. I'm no engineer. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but my theory is that you can't have both of those things on top of each other. I imagine the camera sensors, as they want cameras to look better and get better and also have room for circuitry and battery life, they can't fit the place where the display attaches to the phone at the top where the camera sensors are. There's simply not enough room. That's the way I'm looking at it. I could be wrong. Someone else in the chat, you may know more about it. Feel free to chime in. T-Tech Mania says, Apple addict, only have iPhone 10, iPad, and watch. Are you saying I'm the addict, or at this point it's hard not to be, because this is how I do my job. You know, this is my career now. So it's kind of beyond the point of, oh, Drew can't stop buying things that he like. It's a write-off now. I review all this stuff. It'd be really interesting to think what I would be doing if I wasn't running a YouTube channel. Would I buy an iPhone 10 if I was not running a tech channel? It really depends on my financial situation of alternate Drew, of Where would I be if it weren't for YouTube right now? If I was still working at the ranch, would I be making enough to buy an iPhone 10 at that point? Maybe. But what other things am I paying for at this point? Like, I don't know. Hypothetical, Drew. We can never know. We'll never exactly know. Do you like Beats products considering Apple owns Beats? I do not. I do not just say that because Apple owns this or because there's an Apple logo on this, it is a good thing. There are plenty of products Apple makes that I do not like the Apple TV 4K, Beats Studio headphone. No, but to answer your question, I'm not a big fan of Beats. I've tried them. I've listened to them. I don't think they sound very good, and I think they're overpriced. I don't think it's worth it. I've listened to AirPods. I really like AirPods and the way they sound. I don't really even try to defend the HomePod that much. I enjoy them, but I can totally understand why most people out there can't justify that price point. The fact that you can't pair to it via Bluetooth, or if you have an Android phone, it can't, or Siri can't go through Spotify on there. I completely understand all the criticisms of the HomePod, but I'm just saying I got them, and I'm an Apple Music user, and I don't need to connect to them via Bluetooth for my daily use. But I completely understand people out there who do need those features, who do want those connectivity things that other smart speakers offer. Completely understand that, and I don't try to defend the HomePod for its limitations, or the Apple TV 4K for its glitches, or iOS 11 for all the bugs it has. And similarly, Beats, I have tried myself, and I didn't think they were very good. I didn't think they sounded good. I wasn't impressed. And I did try Beats Studio headphones, which are over ears. I can never get comfortable with on-ear headphones. I hate that. I'm mostly a earbud guy, but I'm okay if they go over my ear. That feels more comfortable. And I tried the Studios. They sounded pretty good, but $350 is a lot, and I'm not sure if they sounded that good. And the killer, I almost leaned over to it. I was almost like, well, it's like the price of a HomePod, I guess, and it does sound pretty good. But the deciding factor ended up for me being they charge via micro USB. They put the W1 chip in these headphones. They know you're pairing it with an iPhone, yet they can't charge it via Lightning. The Beats X headphones, the little earbuds, those charge via Lightning, but not the giant $350 studio pair. Why can't those charge via Lightning? So now I know that if I were to get those studio headphones, anywhere I go, I have to also bring a micro USB alongside. Well, I don't use Lightning with my iPhone because I'm all cheap, but either way, it would just mean that anytime I traveled with these things, I would have to also include an old cable and a new cable and a Qi charger, and I was like, I can't justify this. That was the tipping point. If they charge via Lightning or even USB-C, I'd be okay with. Just something reversible. I would have been like, maybe. I'd really heavily consider it, but that was the deciding factor for me. I tried them on. They sounded good. I looked at them. Micro USB. I was like, why? Seriously, you know the people buying these have iPhones. You put the W1 chip. It's designed to pair with an iPhone, yet you don't put a Lightning port on it. Like, it's so easy. And people have also had complaints with them. They all fall apart. They're made of poor quality. So I've seen enough complaints of them to decide that I can't really justify, right now at least, I cannot justify spending $350 on a pair of Pro headphones. If Apple ends up making Pro Pods, though, I have a lot more faith and a lot more reliability when it comes to the Apple sound team. So the people who originally designed the EarPods, the AirPods, and now the HomePod, in terms of sound quality, connectivity is a different problem, but in terms of the sound, AirPods are my favorite wireless headphones. HomePods are my favorite speakers, just in terms of pure sound quality, ignoring the Bluetooth or the Spotify stuff. Those sound amazing. So if that same Apple team made a pair of over-ear headphones that were professional, those I may heavily consider, because even though they may end up costing $400, $500, if I can charge them inductively on AirPower or they charge via Lightning, whatever, I'm sure they'll sound great. They'll work more seamlessly with everything than Beats because you don't have to carry around that giant headphone, and they'll probably be more durable. They'll probably be more premium, because I do remember feeling like these headphones are like $300 and they feel plastic, and that shouldn't I shouldn't be feeling that. Anyway, let me catch up on some super chats here and make sure I'm not missing anything. Joel E. Banks says, I'm a Galaxy guy, but I watch you to help keep my bias in check. Any advice for joining Apple this late? I love customization, but tired of fragmentation. Okay, good question, Joel. My issue with customization is that it feels like it only lasts for so long. Customizing the phone for a little bit is fun. Be like, hey, I want this launcher, I want this background. But at the end of the day, you're going to do that for like 20 minutes, and then you're just going to go back to using your phone as a phone. And then it's not the customize. You have to make it interesting. Whereas Apple, with the iOS updates that you get for years and years and years after you bought that phone, that's what keeps it interesting. It makes things run faster, gets notification better management, adds new features. That's what I like about iOS. And no, you're never too late. My only advice is start with an iPhone. Don't go iPad, MacBook, and then switch to iPhone's the key to the whole ecosystem. You got to start there. Find an iPhone you like, go with that. Most likely wait for the new ones to come out. Don't just jump on an iPhone 10 right now. Now's a bad time to buy any iPhone. Don't do it. T-Tech Media said we both are. Okay, we're both Apple addicts. Thank you, Sander, for super chatting. Appreciate it. Brandon Corwin says, could you review the Air Bar? Apparently it makes your MacBook touchscreen. I would love to if I had a MacBook. I don't know if you know this. I sold my MacBook Pro to help buy another iMac, which we use here at the office for editing, because I don't edit on the go anymore. All the footage I edit is with Blackmagic, so I need something with a lot more power than a MacBook Pro, and I thought about getting the 2018 MacBook Pro, but honestly, I wouldn't take it places. It would just stay here. It would stay at the office all the time. And in that case, it makes more sense to invest in a faster iMac, which this was before the MacBook Pro refresh, mind you. Either way, though, this is a better setup for us in our daily use. So I would love to test it, but I don't have a MacBook, so sorry. T-Tech Mania says, I think all Apple devices will charge wirelessly. I think that's the goal. I think they're moving there. Ruby says, AirPower is simply a myth that will never release. Sadly, that is entirely possible. I'm worried that one day we're just going to see AirPower missing from the website, and they're going to say, never mind. Xander's actually selling his MacBook, too. So, yeah, that wouldn't really make sense to keep around. I don't imagine that working well. I know it might. There's probably other people that have reviewed AirBar, but it doesn't sound like something I would like. macOS is not designed for a touch interface, and to force a touch interface onto it, I don't think it would work very well. iHunter says, will you stream the Samsung event on August 1st? Dude, honestly, should I? I mean, they're so boring. No, even when we live stream Apple events, the whole chat room, the whole time we're streaming it, everyone's just like, boring, do dark mode. This time, I don't even know what we're excited for. Everything about the Samsung event sounds boring. It's like we know everything about the Note 9, the Bixby speaker. I mean, do you want a live reaction of that? I don't know. Maybe there's nothing else to be doing at the time of the Samsung event. Maybe making fun of it live will be more interesting. I don't know, but I'm not interested in that at all. I want to watch the Google event. I'm excited to see them talk about why the Pixel 3 is a good phone, because that's going to be a hard bargain. I'm telling you, please buy this. I know the notch is huge. I know the chin is huge. I know there's one camera, but stock Android. Please buy this phone. I want to watch that. I'm excited for that. Oh, my God, and Fortnite is coming exclusively to the Note 9 for 30 days. Do you think that's going to work? Do you think anyone out there is going to be like, I need to play Fortnite on Android? I can't play it on iOS, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, or Mac. I have to play it on Android. It has to be Android, and I cannot wait 30 days. I have to play Fortnite on Android now, so I'm going to buy a Note 9. Is that going to work? Is that honestly going to work? Will anyone go for that? I just think that it's hilarious. Anyway, let's see. Michael says, when is the next tech podcast coming? I'm waiting. We try to find time to record it, but we don't have a set schedule for it, so I apologize. But yeah, I can tell you as soon as we are available and we are free to do it, we will. We'll record it and post it as soon as we can. Yeah. But the people who work on the podcast, including myself, are busy with a lot of other things. And sadly, podcast is not top priority. So that's why it doesn't get a consistent schedule right now. Anyway, the notch can be hidden via software. In the Pixel 3, it better. The Pixel 3 better not have an option to show the notch. They should black out the sides of it at all times. There should never be an option to just let the display go all the way up there. See, if they at least blacked out the sides of the notch on the Pixel 3, at least the top and bottom would match, like the forehead and the chin would look pretty similar. So that has to be what they're doing. There's no way they're going to allow that reveal to turn around and they show off that giant buck tooth. It looks like Mater's teeth, like it's just big old thing, deep, thick notch, super thick notch, 2 C's. Oh, Fortnite, $0. Fortnite on Android, $1,000. Yeah, that's right. That's true, Ruby. That's true. Okay, so we're going to do something differently here while I'm caught up on Super Chats, because I don't know if you guys have known, but we've been discovering that the YouTube algorithm definitely is not in favor of longer form content on YouTube. Live streams don't result in us killing our momentum for our views. Now, I love live streaming with you guys, and I don't want to stop live streaming with you guys. So my best bet is to come up with a little bit of a compromise. So the live stream is not ending. Let's get that out of the way. We're not ending the live stream, but the live stream is going to move, all right, from YouTube to a different Amazon site that rhymes with glitch. That unrelatedly, there will be a link in the chat for you to head over there, and we're gonna wrap up this YouTube one to help keep our momentum going on YouTube, so we can keep growing and we can keep the views moving forward. But I still want to answer your guys' questions. I want to hear from you. So we're going to be moving over very, very quickly. So I'm going to end this stream real quick, but the stream's not over. All right? Head over there. There's a link to an unrelated site owned by Amazon, rhymes with glitched, and we're going to keep answering your questions over there because I think not enough people move to this site, even though it's much more beautifully designed. The donations are not set to $1. You can donate as little as you want or as much as you want, just like here. We're going to be moving over just because I want you guys to give it a chance. It helps me out a bunch. It helps YouTube out a bunch, and it's going to be hopefully the best compromise we can find. So I'll be right back, all right? We're going to see you over there very quickly, just a couple minutes. We're going to wrap it up and be right back. See you over there. Click on the link. I'm going to spam it again. Click on that link, all right? We'll see you there.